Welcome back to episode 38 of the FPL Sheeple Podcast, a podcast that aggregates elite FPL content and delivers it to you on a plate. We are back after a long break for the Sheeple as we took some time off due to personal commitments. But we are back with a new episode, and the talk all around the FPL world is about when to play the remaining chips. There are tons of double game weeks coming up, and the planning committees are in full flow as content creators try to make one last push to achieve their season rank goals. We at Sheeple will also try to do the same with the help of our creators each week. I'm joined by my co host Donatello. Hi, Donatello, how has it been in the past 3 weeks?
Hey, yeah, it's been pretty hectic. Work-wise as well, work commitments are primary my reason of not being able to spend time on FPL. But yeah, this week it's been light, and I am excited to record this after a long time. I think we're recording after a month or two,
Yeah,
so I'm excited. Yeah, I was able to spend some time on FPL Twitter and see what's the scuttlebutt and what's going on and what people are talking about. And as usual, every week it's something else.
yeah,
So this week wasn't surprising with all the talk of the new players that the content creators want to get into the team and are recommending. So yeah, another double game week.
yeah.
I think there are a couple more, but this is one of the maybe lighter ones because the big teams don't participate in the double games. So yeah, it's good to be back after a long time. And
Yeah.
my team is not doing that great, but yours is. So how have you been doing?
Yeah, it's been okay. Even though we were not able to record an episode. I think both of us were still continuing to follow the content creators every week. And I think for at least a couple of weeks, we've made changes and kept on at least updating the team. So it's not like, uh, our team is now just dead and, we have assets
Right.
that we really don't want.
Yeah.
It's just that, yeah, they were a weird couple of weeks because the game weeks were, I mean, for example, game week 30, another one where we didn't record an episode, but it was just a game week with 4 matches. It was really weird. There was nothing we
Yeah.
could do. There was not a lot of points on offer. Nothing happened. Rank movements are also not large, not big greens, not big reds. And then the last 2 weeks were also a bit odd, as in I think the game week 31 was good for me. I went up towards my best rank of the season, and then game week 32
Mm.
brought me back down because, you know, as we all know, that Huming Son went crazy, and if you didn't own him, and most of the managers in the top 100k or so own Son, I think half of them at least. So all his 21 points really, went against us, and we went down in the rank again. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was like up 1 week and down, back down again. But yeah, as you said, a lot of double game weeks coming up. This one is an okay one. Then the next couple of weeks are again just a couple of teams doubling, and then game week 36 is the big one where I think there are what I think 8 or 9 teams that are doubling together. That's the
Yeah.
biggest double game week. So yeah, looking forward to that, and that's why right now you will see a lot of content out there because everyone is trying to figure out when to play the chips, how to bring in the best players for the different double game weeks and get the most points. So I mean, yeah, it'll be really confusing, and so let's hope we are able to make some sense out of all of this content.
Yes. Yeah, so I was just looking up my history for this season. So I was out of 100K for like 17 game weeks first. Then I was in the 100K for like just one game week, which was game week 18. And from then onwards, it's been, I think I was back again in game week 22. But ever since game week 22 onwards, I've just like fallen down. And I'm on the cusp of 200K now. So it's like final 6 game weeks for me to at least claw my way back to 100K. So starting with this game week, I think
Yeah,
five
for
game
sure.
weeks, not six.
Yeah, for sure. I think for you, how far are you from the 100k? I think it's the
95k. I'm
95 points.
195k.
Yeah, yeah,
No, not in terms of points. I'm talking about it in terms of rank. I'm
yeah,
95k away, so it should be like 50 odd points or like 40 points. I haven't checked
yeah,
it, but I can.
yeah. Yeah, that's fine anyway. Yeah, I think top 100K was our aim anyway. For
Yeah,
me, I
I'm
think,
off. I'm off by 47 points, so I need to
yeah,
make ground by at least 20 points or 30 points each game week, and then cover my way back.
yeah, probably. I think depending on the chips, I think the chips give you 15-20 point advantage. So if you have a
I only have one chip left, which is the bench boost. So,
good
um,
to use it
yeah,
carefully. I think Game Week
yes,
36 might be a good one to use it.
yeah,
But we'll talk more about that towards the end of the pod when we talk about the teams. I've done a few um, permutations and combinations of when to play the different chips and what that
mm,
might result into, and I'll talk about that more. But yeah, let's get started with our usual agenda, starting with the template team for Game Week 32. So yeah, so this is the Game Week 32, 33 podcast, and so we start off by reviewing the Game Week 32 template team, which is the template team derived from 20 different FPL content creators. And each week we take a look at which were the most common players across the 20 content creators starting 11s, and that's the team that we see in our video version right now. Like for example, Doherty was in 18 of the teams. 18 or 20 teams, and he's now out for the season, so you're going to see him absolutely disappear, I'm sure. And there'll be a lot of replacements for Doherty in there. Then
yeah.
Rafinha still manages to stick around in half of the teams, but I'm sure he's also again going to disappear this week. And yeah, I think Weghorst as well, where it's been absolutely a disaster, I would say, with the him having such amazing, still has a double game week this week, so maybe some managers still choose to hold on to him, and
Mm,
then we'll see how it goes for him. But yeah, nothing surprising. The template team is very strong. There's only Robertson who's a player who's not in half of the teams, but otherwise all of the others are in more than half
yeah,
of the teams. So yeah, template is very strong. And I think as we've indicated here, we also take a look at which of these players are in our own teams. And I seem to have, 8 out of the 11 players in my own team. So my team is pretty strong template
yeah.
compared to
You're
the,
fairly template, and
yeah.
I am mostly differential.
Yeah, mostly different. You just have like 6 players out of
Yeah,
the 11 in your team. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, as I said, and I think in the beginning of the season, I said I'm going to remain template. It's
yeah,
good to see that game week 32, and I'm still template with a few key differences. And
yeah.
sometimes these differences might pull us down, but I think it's still been fairly okay.
Mm.
Um so let's start by looking at uh, your game week 32 review and what you've done. And I think we've also mentioned our previous transfers from the previous 3 game weeks, so that things that we did in the time we did not pod, but we did make some changes, so we
Yeah.
have that as well. So yeah, why don't you take us through your team?
Sure. I got 54 points last game week. Not great because everything was driven by Son and his hat trick. Otherwise, I think if Son didn't score that hat trick, this would have been a good game week. But yeah, I was off my safety score according to Live FPL by 10 points, and I fell in rank. I mean, not by much, which is again 20, only by 20k. Yeah, still within the reach of 100k. Like last game week I made one transfer. I didn't follow any content creators, but I was just looking at the FPL Twitter, and it was the talk of Fernandez was there. And honestly, I had cash in the bank because I have sold Salah earlier on. So I sold Coutinho for Fernandez, and obviously he blanked that game week. But yeah, all thanks to the Spurs duo, Kane and Kulusevski and Rafinha, who gave me uh, 32 points between them. you know, gave me 54 points in total. Um, so, as I said, yeah, it's frustrating to be going down steadily. But yeah, I think this double game week might be beneficial based on the changes that I've made this game week. Um, uh, to resurface old transfers which we haven't discussed or we haven't recorded. So I removed Luka Dean and Mo Salah in game week 30, and I got Cody and Barnes in. Obviously, selling Salah was a big gamble. So far, it's not hurt me because Mo has not delivered big points. I didn't do any. I forgot to make changes in game week 31. But yeah, even that did not affect me too much. And in game week 29, or I think game week 29, I bought in Doherty for Cancelo and Saka for ESR. And Doherty is obviously out for the season, but I benefited from his 14 points last game week, which kind of saved my game week again.
Mhm.
So overall, it was a fair game week. Didn't drop too much in the rank, but nearly there. Uh, Enough to kickstart my campaign towards 100K
Mhm.
with like 5 game weeks remaining. So
Yeah.
that was my game week.
Yeah. Not having Salah is the really brave move, but yeah, I can see why. I mean, he's not been in form. Hopefully, you have ways to get to him. I think in the next few weeks because I think he has a double game week soon.
So I
Uh,
have. So when we get to our transfers, I'll get to that. But yeah, I have enough cash to get him back.
yeah, yeah. So then that's fine. I mean, other than that, I think your team yeah looks good, and yeah, it's just because of Son that you, as you said, you had a problem this game week, but otherwise everything looks good. Yeah, coming to my game week 32 review, I got 59 points, which was 6 points away from the safety score. So again, small red arrow for me as well. I went down from 72k to 79, almost 80k. That's okay. I'm sort of stabilized in the top 100k, so that's important. And but I still want to make inroads and go
Mm,
as high as I can. Live FPL kindly tells me that I'm off the 50k mark by 25 points, and I think 25 points is a decent amount to try and catch up by in like 6 game weeks. So yeah, I'm
mm,
looking forward to it. I have 2 chips left, a bench boost and a free hit. So I think I can use that, and if both of them, as they theoretically fetch 10 to 15 points, I think that should lead me to the correct or at least in the top 50k. But you never know with these things; it's all theoretical. We'll see how it goes. For me, yeah, same as you. Kane, Kulusevski, Rafinha were the uh, main source of points. Rudiger got the clean sheet, or rather the goal from long range. So he got. No, hang on, he got a clean sheet. So that's the 6 points, and James came off the bench for the 1 pointer. I had the
mm.
Newcastle defenders in on my bench, so they could have potentially been a better choice in the starting 11. But it is what it is. For me, in game week 29 and 30, I banked my transfer because, yeah, as I said, it was just a game week of 4 fixtures and there wasn't much to do. I think I didn't find time to make any changes, so it was what it was. And even banking the transfer actually helped because having 2 transfers in these next weeks is potentially going to help me. So in game week 30 31, I did Trent to Robertson because Robertson was in amazing form and Trent wasn't as much. So I just made that change based on some of the content creators' suggestions. I couldn't afford to get Robertson by transferring any other defenders. I wanted to keep the Chelsea defenders in the team because they're going to have good matches now soon.
Mm,
So yeah, that's why I made that change. And then in game week 31 32, I changed from Kilman to Share. This actually this transfer was made based on the suggestion of the creator of the week. So last week it was FPL Mate. who
Mm.
was the creator of the week, and he also made this change of getting in share with a view of the double game week 33. And so yeah, I got in share to get ready for this upcoming game week. So that was a transfer I made last week. But yeah, overall, fairly happy with the team, and looking forward to trying get as high a rank as possible in the next few weeks.
Mm.
All right. So then, coming to the creator who got the most points in Game Week 32, and this time it was Andy. Let's talk FPL, who got 86 points, believe it or not, and obviously, as you may have guessed it, it was because he had Son, and Son was his captain. So yeah, massive haul for Andy. Supremely differential captaincy pick, and obviously Son is not in many teams, so he got 42 points from Son and 10 from Rafinha, 12 from Kulusevski, and then the rest were either clean sheets or blanks, and that got him 86 points. So Andy, let's talk FPL, got a massive haul. His rank just completely propelled uh, in, and now he's at somewhere around 14k. So yeah, yeah, great to have him as our creator of the week. And let's take a look at all the other content creators and their teams. So each week, what we do is we prepare a spreadsheet where we take the starting 11s of the 20 content creators and take our own starting 11s and put it together in a spreadsheet where we can see the different players that were picked, and these players are also arranged in a specific way. So the most common players are towards the left of the spreadsheet, and as we move to the right of the spreadsheet, we get to the more differential picks, or the players that are in only a few teams. And obviously we have the other statistics about the teams, such as their game week points, their total points, their rank, if they played a chip, who their captain was, and so on and so forth. So gives us a nice idea of the pool of players that are in the thinking of these 20 FPL content creators, and which are the most commonly picked players, and gives us some guideline of who to go for, or which are the good players to have in our teams in general. So yeah, so every week we prepare the spreadsheet. The link of the spreadsheet is always in the descriptions of our audio and video versions. So do check it out. Maybe this spreadsheet helps you, go through which are the good players to pick, and in general gives you an idea of where the teams of these different content creators are at. So, and then from the spreadsheet, both of us make some key takeaways, and talk about our key takeaways uh, each week. So you want to start with your takeaways for this game week?
Absolutely. So my first key takeaway for it's like for the last 2 3 game weeks. So first thing is Salah's dip in form. I know the golden rule is never take Salah out of your team, but with the upcoming double game weeks, especially the ones before 36, um, I'm wondering, like, I don't have in my team, and that enables me to have some cash and go for the double game week players. So wondering, or like my question is whether it's worth keeping him or selling him, and then having him back for the big double game week in which Liverpool have those two matches. Um, so that is one thing. Um, I know this is not a takeaway from the spreadsheet. It's more of like a question, because every single content creator, not everyone, but like 18 content creators have him in the team, and it enables, like, it's basically getting more cash, 13 million in the bank. So uh, I'm interested in looking at what the content creators will do in the next couple of game weeks where there are double game weeks, and to get in players like Fernandez or Son, you have to sacrifice, you know, or having players which have double game weeks, you have to sacrifice like the single game week players, and especially Salah's form is not that great. So yeah, that is something that I've been wondering, and looking forward to, especially in this game week, at what the content creators do. Second is almost everyone has Reece James in their teams, but ever since he's back from injury, I don't think we've gotten any returns from him. It's just 20 or 30 minute odd appearances and just one pointers. So I'm wondering when Reece James will give us points and whether it is worth keeping him in the team because he's expensive, 6.1 million for that defender. So uh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Like what the content creators do with him, whether they sell him for someone else or like that will be interesting to see. And then something like I see that mostly everyone has Ramsdale and or Saka in their team in the template team as well. Like I see that 12 content creators own Ramsdale and 18 own Saka. But with the current form Arsenal is in, I'm wondering if it's time to drop Arsenal assets because they are going to have some tough matches. This game week they have Southampton away, which is okay. I mean that is a winnable match, but they have Chelsea away too. So and on top of that, Arsenal have Partey and Tierney out for the season. So um, it is going to get difficult with losing two extremely key players. So it has already reflected in the last two matches where they've just lost and lost clean sheet and everything. So I'm wondering whether it is time to drop Arsenal assets and move on to someone else like Spurs or United. Um, so those are like my key takeaways from the spreadsheet. Not takeaways; it's more of like questions or observations that I've made for the future. Um, and then finally, I'd like to look at the differentials. So the big differential this game week was Hyun-Min Song with 21 points. And Ivan Tony has been the amount we've ranted about him at the start of the season. He's looking fresh and is delivering for the last couple of game weeks. So he's got 12 pointers. I think 12 pointers back to back, if I'm not wrong. So in great form and someone to consider if you are looking for a backup striker. And then Gordon from Everton with 10 pointers, and then Pookie with 9 pointers. So these were the only four players which stood out this game week, with Son being the only three content creators have had him, and all three of them, I think, had him as captain. 42 points. I mean, insane. It sets you apart from the rest of the. I mean, a gap of 40 points is automatically a huge jump in rank and points. So, big differential for this game week.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, these are all very interesting questions, and yeah, there has been a lot of talk about it. I think for Salah, at least, everybody is too scared to lose him. So I think even if the content creators even contemplate that, they sort of resist the idea, even though he's dipped in form. The thing is that because Salah is able to just conjure a 20 pointer out of nowhere, I think everyone will, tend to stick to him and start, moving around other players to get. But yeah, as you said, try if you want to try to get a Bruno and a Son or a Kevin De Bruyne, I think Salah is the only way you can do that. I mean, obviously you can get rid of Kane, but again, if you wanted two of these players together, then again you have to try and get rid of Salah to have that. So we'll see actually in the upcoming game weeks when Liverpool have you know
So I'm
a
just
lot of
looking at their games. So they have
yeah,
United next, but after that they have the Merseyside derby with Everton,
yeah,
and
that
then
should
they
be
have
good.
Newcastle away, and they have Spurs at home, if I'm not wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
Spurs and Arsenal. So
yeah.
those are tough matches.
Yeah, Spurs and Arsenal is a tough double, but again, it's a double, and a Liverpool double is
Yeah,
always going to be
more
backed
better than
by,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
people are going to back that, and content creators are never going to advise to sell Salah. But I think content creators might be okay with, someone going for a Kevin De Bruyne or like a Bruno or Kevin De Bruyne, especially if his back is fit and if City have these amazing double game weeks and they have easier fixtures than Liverpool. So he I think can be a good replacement for Salah, and if Salah does not score too many points,
Yeah.
That could be, and especially I mean for your team, if you know, because you want to try and catch the 100K, and if it's a bit far away, you can obviously go for, I mean, you've already done that. You've already sold Salah, and you've gone down the route of, Fernandez, and you can potentially go down the route of, Son or Kevin De Bruyne to try and catch those points. So yeah, I can totally see why you have that
Yeah.
thought process. For Reece James, yeah, I mean, it's highly frustrating with the rotations, and with Chelsea in the Champions League, it was hard, and he was being
Yeah.
rotated again, and until Chelsea are in the FA Cup, this is going to keep continuing, I think. And Reece James, hopefully, whenever he plays or starts, gives us points. So it's just about, people are keeping him just because if he starts, he might get a lot of points. Same like Salah, he can just suddenly, conjure a 15, 20 pointer suddenly. So Reece
Yeah.
James is kept, but I think Cancelo is a good replacement instead of James. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
you can change him to Cancelo. And yeah, the Arsenal thing is interesting because they have double game weeks. Nobody has talked about this aspect, but yeah, there have been some murmurs about Tierney and Partey affecting Arsenal's form a lot. And so, yeah, eventually we might start seeing Arsenal assets being dropped out of the template team, for example. Um, yeah, for me, the key takeaway this week was that I noticed that the pool of players from the 20 different content creators went down from 46 to 38 from the previous weeks. So that means that it's becoming more narrow, the pool of players, and so it's becoming more template.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if now this pool again increases now with the different double game weeks. I think it's not going to increase a lot because I think, for example, for the forwards, there aren't many options. So that's a very narrow pool of players that's going to, keep hanging around. Even the midfield and the defenders are still a narrow pool of players. So I think we're going to see, even last season, we saw this towards the end of the season, that the pool of players was, shrinking because there was just a few bunch of players that had the best fixtures, that had,
Yeah.
the form. So yeah, this pool of players, I can imagine being hanging around this a mark of 38 to 40 in the next few weeks. The next thing I noticed was that Harvey Barnes, many of us got him in uh, for his great fixtures, double game weeks in these weeks, but his rotation and form is very problematic since Leicester are doing well in the Conference League, and they've made it to the semi-finals. He's probably going to Leicester are going to have one match every 3 days, so Barnes is probably going to be rotated. He came off at around halftime in the Conference League match against Eindhoven, so potentially he should, in theory, start the next match against Newcastle. So he will at least
Yeah.
start, but let's see if he, scores the points, or Madison just turns out to be the better pick. But Madison played the entire match in Eindhoven, so he could be rested. So yeah, this rotation and this form thing with Barnes and even with Madison is going to be problematic, and especially given that Leicester are going to have at least 2 or 3 double game weeks in the next
Yeah.
6 game weeks. So yeah, I really want to look out for and see what the content creators say about it. And yeah,
I
one
think they
final,
have
yeah,
three games in hand, so I
yeah,
think three double
exactly.
game weeks for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, this one, and for sure they have one in 36, and then it'll be in one another. And
Yeah.
finally, yeah, the key takeaway was Son and his the harm that he did to non-owners. Uh, 5 of the 6 teams in our spreadsheet at the top owned Son. 3 of them had captained him, so they were the top 3 teams. And yeah, just I cannot believe that, I took a look at his effective ownership, and it's somewhere around 50% in our rank region, and I was really
Yeah.
surprised by that. I was like, how can people afford Salah? And I'm sure they don't have Kane, all of these players.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, instead of Kane, they have Son. So yeah, I was really surprised to see that, with Kane being having such amazing form before Son started scoring these points, I was surprised to see that, or learn that Son is in 50% of the teams, and therefore harmed our rank so much. And I think if he continues to score like this, it's still going to be a problem. So we have to hope that his big scores are just a just an anomaly and he goes back to you
Yeah.
know his norm and doesn't score as many, or at least scores points equal to Kane. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, and Son hopefully does not damage our rank too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, I think in that partnership with Spurs, I think it's Harry Kane who is acting like the counter-attacking midfielder and just threading passes to Son
Yeah,
and he's scoring. So
yeah,
we want the other way around to happen for a
yeah,
change. Kane to give us the point. So yeah, yeah, it was a big differential this game week.
yeah, for sure. All right, so then let's get to our creator of the week for Game Week 33. And as I said before, it was Andy, Let's Talk FPL. He has a YouTube channel called Let's Talk FPL, one of the highest, most followed, most subscribed FPL YouTube channel. He's been playing FPL for 12 seasons now, and in the 11 past seasons, he's he's got best rank of 1294 last season. So yeah, last season, if you remember, he was one of our top content creators and he got an amazing rank last season. That was his best ever season, and he's been in the top 10k three times and top 50k on five other occasions. So yeah, really amazing performances in all of his seasons so far. His current rank is, as I said, 14k, just because he got the haul from Son and he rose in the rank rapidly. So yeah, great to have Andy. He puts out a lot of content every week, at least 3 or 4 videos, each of them explaining the different different combinations of chip strategies, player picks, previews. He also has a really vibrant and long deadline stream where he's answering questions, talking out his thoughts of what he's going to do with the team. So yeah, when Andy is a creator of the week, there's a lot of content for us to follow and consume, because he's really on top of everything and giving thoughts about all the different combinations and all the different picks that you could have in your team. So yeah, pleased to have him as a creator of the week, and let's discuss what he suggested to us this week. You want to talk about his suggestions?
Yeah, sure. So we have on the screen, we have his free hit team. If you want to free hit this game week, then Andy has provided with a free hit template or a draft. So that team is mostly full of Leicester, Newcastle, and United players. Um, so starting with the goalkeeper Schmeichel, and then in defense Shar, Target, and Teles. All four have double game weeks, and then midfield is Salah, Saka, Fernandez, Madison, and Barnes, and up forward it's Ronaldo and Wood. So this is his pre-hit draft. Um, and then I also listened to his podcast, which he released today for a bit. And in addition to these players, there were also a few names which were mentioned by Andy. One of them was uh, Dewsbury Hall from Leicester, uh, mainly because mainly because of rotation risks with Madison. Because he played the whole 90 minutes against Eindhoven, so it is and Leicester aren't competing for any of the European places. They are like 12, 14 points behind United or West Ham, so they don't have a chance at competing at any of the spots. So I think the main target being Conference League. So it is kind of assumed that Javi Barnes will start because, as you said, he played 45 minutes and came off, and so it is most likely he will start. And Dewsbury Hall has been playing 90 minutes for almost like the last few 10 or 12 game weeks. So he's a sure shot starter. So that is one name he mentioned. Also, he was talking about Pereira, Leicester defender, the right back. So he was also considering him, or if you want another Leicester defender in your team, so he's another name to look at. He's a sure shot starter according to Andy. Um, and then also he talked about Cancelo, or he also tweeted about it about getting Cancelo back in his team. So Cancelo is another option that you need to consider. And apart from that, if you're looking to make like single or a couple of changes, if you have, then Chris Wood is someone like if you want to save some cash, um, then Chris Wood is a player that Andy recommends to get in your team. And then again, if you don't have Salah, or if you have Salah and Kane, and if you want to get a United asset, it is going to be either between Fernandes or Ronaldo, because they have probably the easiest match in the double game week, which is Norwich. So you can. I mean, according to Andy, you can swap any of those two players for Fernandes or Ronaldo. And and finally, in terms of captaincy, as you can see on the screen, there are five names which Andy was discussing or like contemplating making captains. First is Fernandez, as he is like the guaranteed starter in the match on penalties, not on penalties, but free kicks, and like he's not like Ronaldo, who was injured previously and is not a sure shot starter of late. But yeah, Fernandez, Ronaldo from United, and then if you're considering a lesser option than Madison, which is going to be risky because if he doesn't start the first match, or if he gets subbed on for like 30 minutes, it's going to be a risky take. Um, but yeah, Madison is an option. And if you want single game week players who are in great form, then Son and Kane are your captaincy options. So those are Andy's suggestions. I'm sure, as you said, he is very active on Twitter and on YouTube. So there might be more suggestion to come in the late hours or early or by the deadline. So keep an eye on his Twitter and make changes accordingly. But yeah, but for now, these are the changes that we
Yeah.
got from his podcasts, and yeah, this is what we made based our changes on.
Yeah, just a quick addition. I just quickly again looked back to Andy's content and I realized that in the captaincy he also added in Saka and Salah as options. And I think Madison, yeah, as you said, is a rotation race, so he didn't really, wasn't too keen on Madison as a captain. So Saka was someone again as a captaincy. He suggested that I, added in a bit later,
Yeah,
and Salah as obviously because against United, he could go crazy. So, but yeah, he highly rates Fernandez and Ronaldo as the key
yeah,
captaincy picks if you have them in your team. So yeah,
yeah.
those are Andy's suggestions this game week, and yeah, so let's take a look at what we've done to our teams based on these suggestions. So I'll first start off with a um, bit of an experiment I did with my team is to try and figure out when I should play the chips. As I said, I have a free hit and a bench boost chip, and I wanted to, try and predict what would be the best game week to play these different chips. So I went on FPL Review, which is a fantastic website where they use a sort of a model to figure out what the expected points of all the different players are going to be. And based on those expected points, you can basically figure out what's the best score or what's the best transfer you can make each week, and then which transfers are going to give you the most points uh, uh, over a bunch of game weeks, so like 5 game weeks in a row. And obviously you can change a lot of parameters where you can give more weightage to the game weeks that are right in front of you and less weightage to the later game weeks, so that you start focusing transfers or moves that are more
Mm,
relevant for the latest game weeks rather than the ones that are far away in the future. But essentially you can also then model and check what the different types of chip strategies is going to give you in terms of points. So I went through this exercise of trying out different combinations of bench boost and free hit in different game weeks to come up with which are the best strategies. And what I saw is that the it's pretty tight. Doesn't matter what combination I use, the total points that I get is very, very narrow. It's a difference of just like 1 point, within 1 point here and there. So the first strategy or the plan A that I had was to use a bench boost in game week 33, because as I in the past couple of game weeks have been bringing in players that are going to be useful for a bench boost. So for example, Share last game week was a player I brought in so that I have a double game week player and potentially enough players to do a bench boost. So that was my plan A, and then the free hit I was initially thinking I would use it in game week 36, uh, and but what I realized by doing this experiment on FPL review is that free hit in game week 36 gives me much less points than if I were to use the free hit in game week 37, which is a place where I think Manchester City are going to double. And then because our teams by game week 36 we are able to make some free transfers and reach a team that is going to be really decent for game week 36 itself, so we don't need a free hit or a chip there, and we can instead use the free hit in 37 and get a more larger sort of gain in
Yeah.
points than not. So that is something I tried, and that was my plan A, and looks like that fetches good set of points. The plan
Mm.
B that I also tried was free hit 33 and a bench boost in 36, which also fetches almost as many points as my plan A. But
Mm.
again, it's like, because as I said, bench boost is something I was already planning on using in Game Week 33, and building up towards it and buying players for that. I think plan A is something I might still stick with. And finally, I just tried for the heck of it bench boost 36 and free 37, which gave less points, expected points, than the first two plans. So I
Right.
think according to this experiment, free hit 33 and bench boost 36 seems to be the best sort of option, with
Mm.
bench boost 33 and free hit 37 being slightly behind. But I
Right.
think I'm going to go with plan A and therefore go with my bench boost finally. So coming to my team, I've made I had two free transfers, so I made three changes. The
Mm.
first was Jacob Ramsey to Dewsbury Hall. You've mentioned the benefits of having Dewsbury Hall. Andy has suggested him as well.
Yeah.
Next, I changed Rafinha to Madison. And then finally, I changed Doherty to Telles, is another pick that Andy suggested for a -4. And I
Mm-hmm.
finally activated my bench boost. I had in a previous episode activated my bench boost when we recorded, but I close to the deadline I took off the bench boost because there were a few injury concerns in the
Yeah.
team, so I opted out of the bench boost, and funnily the bench still ended up getting 22 points in that game week, so I should have just kept it on anyway.
Yeah. I
uh,
mean, if there is any game week to have a bench boost, it's this because your bench is like too strong.
Yeah, it's so it is really strong even after putting up the good double game week players in the
Yeah.
main team. So let me just read out my team. I have Dubravka in goal, Telles, Rudiger, and Cher. In midfield, I have Dewsbury Hall, Madison, who's my captain currently, but I might change him to Saka. I'll see
Mhm.
it more close to the deadline. I have Salah and Saka, and my forward line is Broja, Lacazette, and Kane. Kane is my vice captain, and on the bench I have
Mhm.
Ramsdale, Robertson, Reece James, and Kulusevski. So yeah, as you said, really strong bench. All of the players of the bench could potentially also get a ton of points, and Ramsdale has a double game week as well. So yeah, really happy to
Yeah.
do a bench boost this week. Madison is my captain currently, but as I said, Saka could be eventually my captain. I'll take a call
Yeah.
closer to the deadline, depending on how's it going and what the feel is like. I mean, Andy will also probably put out his team closer to the deadline, and maybe his thoughts might help me, choose the captain
Mhm.
better. So yeah, so that's my team, and let's see how it goes with this one. So yeah,
Yeah.
then
Looks good. Your team is. I like your team. Uh, I mean, that bench can easily fetch you 20, 30 points if everyone
yeah,
gets you points. So, yeah, I mean, I think if all your hits or all your strategies which are in place work out, it will be a big game week. And
yeah,
I just have a, like you mentioned, concern about Madison.
yeah,
But yeah, if he starts both games, then I think you'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, I mean, I have my doubts about Saka as captain because
mm,
they Arsenal have Chelsea away.
yeah,
So that's a difficult match. So I would rather keep Madison or Dewsbury Hall even as a differential
Dewsbury Hall.
captain, but
No, no way,
yeah,
man.
it's up to you, man.
Yeah, I'm too much of a scaredy cat to do like a Dewsbury Hall captaincy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think yeah, maybe then I might go with Salah in the end.
yeah,
Because if he plays the same way he did, I mean, he's not going to get 24 points like he did in the first match
never say
against
never.
United. Yeah, but yeah, maybe I'll go with Salah. I'll see. As I said, close to the deadline, I will
Yeah.
be on Twitter and active, and I'll see what the feel is like, and let's see what Andy also says, and maybe that
Mhm.
helps me choose the captain. As I said, so yeah, let's see how it goes. All right, so then going to your team.
So I made two changes. I got Doherty out for Cancelo,
Oh, nice.
and I got Dennis out finally for Chris Wood. Yeah, I know I could have gone for a double game week defender, but yeah, I think Cancelo is a better pick and
Yeah.
can get more points over a double game week defender. So, and I think it's also because City will have a double game week sometime. So nice to have someone from City, because I've noticed, like, I don't like, obviously it's because of the matches, but I think it's time to have one of the City players in the team. So two changes based on Andy's suggestion. So my team is 4-4-2. Ramsdale in goal, Livramento, Trent, Rudiger, Cancelo, my back four. In the midfield, I have Saka, Fernandez, who is my captain,
Hmm.
obvious choice for this game week, all because of the Norwich match. And then I have Barnes, who was already in my team, so he stays. Kulusevski, and forward is Wood and Kane. Wood is my vice captain. So and my bench is, as you can see, is absolutely shambles. None of the
Hmm.
players will feature. I mean, Kuko is injured or has a card. I think, I
No,
don't
he's
know why,
out for
but
the
he's red.
season.
So he's out for the seasons.
Uh,
Great. So can't use my bench boost
yeah,
for this on this slot. So yeah,
yeah.
that's my team, 4-4-2. Fernandez captain. Hopefully it pays off, because I tried it last week, didn't work, but fingers crossed for this game week.
Yeah, no, Fernandez captain might be the differential you need. But yeah, the rest of the team looks good. Yeah, I think for the bench, I think in the next couple of game weeks, I'm sure you're probably going to just weed out these people on the bench and
I mean,
get.
I wanted to keep Rafinha because Leeds have a
Mm,
double game week, so I don't want to, and he's started to deliver points of late, so didn't feel like getting him out. Sa and Cody, it's like ever since I've had them in my team, I've got like Sa, you get like 3-4 points because he doesn't keep clean sheet, but he makes saves. But Cody is disappointing ever since I've had in the team. No returns. So maybe yeah, time to get these players out of my team soon. So that
yeah,
I only have one chip left, which is the bench boost. So if I use my transfers correctly, or like make good changes, I will be able to make a bench boost by game week 36. So three
yeah.
three game weeks to make like decent changes to my team.
Yeah, I think yeah that should be good. I think that sounds good. And giving 36 is huge. I think, and as I said in the combinations I tried, a bench boosted 36 team has a lot of points as well. So
Mm,
yeah, at least on FPL review, that seems to be
yeah,
a good point to do a bench boost. So yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so yeah, good luck to you as well. I think
yeah.
it's a decent team, and we'll see how it goes for us. So. Yeah, so then that's it for us for this game week. Uh, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this pod after a long time. We are back, and I think, yeah, now we'll have an episode come out almost every week because, it's going to be really interesting end of the season, lots of double game weeks, and should be good. And we will try to get to our targets of top 100K in Donatello's case and top 50K for me. So, yeah, trying to get there by the end of the season. So should be really interesting. So yeah, so that's it from us for this game week. Good luck to you, everyone, and we'll keep in touch on Twitter. And next week we'll have another episode for you. So yeah, good luck and goodbye from me.
Good luck.